From the Indian perspective, I would say that the most significant element in terms of regional stability is the nature of the US Iran relationship. Now, we are aware that President Trump, for his own reasons, has gone back on the so called nuclear deal that had been sherpa'd, if you will, by President Obama. That has many repercussions in the long run if it goes south, meaning that if Iran and the United States actually have the equivalent of a complete breakdown in the relationship over the nuclear issue, then Iran is likely to act in a certain manner, which in turn would provoke a reaction from the United States, whether John Bolton is there or not. And I think that could have a very, very adverse impact on a number of issues, including the price of oil, which is going to be a big kind of, shall we say, ticket item, a big ticket item for the Indian economy. That apart, I think the other significant kind of development is the nature of the relationship between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Now, that of course has a much deeper kind of foundation, or it goes back by many decades, if not centuries, in terms of the political rivalry between the so called Sunni-led faction of Islamic politics, which is Saudi Arabia, and whatever be the aspirations of Iran, which in many ways represents the so called Shia faction of Islamic politics. Now, that's a very elementary binary, but it has a number of complex strands that are embedded, including what happens in Bahrain, the Shia dominated parts of Saudi Arabia, and so on and so forth. With that, we have the non-state entity, the support to terror groups that are differently operating across West Asia. So I think India will be impacted by that. And in a more proximate manner, in a more immediate manner, are the developments in Afghanistan and the extent to which they are being shaped or influenced by major West Asian powers from Saudi Arabia to Iran. I think a combination of all these would have a relevance for the Indian security plan.
See, West Asia has been seen turbulence over the years. It's not only recently, but over the long period of history of this region, you have find that the nations or the states have been in conflict. At present, of course, there are three factors which I think are very, very important. The first factor, of course, is the US Iran confrontation, which has increased, particularly after President Trump has taken over the presidency in the United States. As also the second aspect is the activities which have happened in Syria and Iraq. Now here the growth of the Islamic State, which is of course doesn't have any territory at present, but the growth of the Islamic State in 2014 has made a major impact as far as the conflict in West Asia is concerned, particularly because a large number of state actors got involved in this, including Iran, Russia, United States, Turkey, and various other countries. The third aspect, of course, is the traditional confrontation which exists between the Gulf states and Iran. Now, this has got particularly exemplified after the United States has sided with the Gulf states, and also we have the Israel factor which comes in, the increasing belligerence from the Israeli side, particularly because they want to have a strong posture to defeat the designs of the Iran as well as other countries which they feel are threatening their own security. I think these are some of the factors which have really influenced the growing turbulence in this region.
There are many factors, responsible for the worsening situation in the West Asia. Of course, prominent among them is the Iran-US confrontation, which is going on for quite some time now. Apart from this, war in Yemen, then blockade of Qatar, also a major factor in deteriorating situation in the oil-rich region of the Persian Gulf. So these are the prominent. Besides this, the oil prices have also gone down. Economic crunch is there. Most of the countries, they're facing economic difficulties. Plus, but the region is very important for us in the sense, almost 60 or 70 lakh Indians are working. Then 85% of our oil supplies come from this region. We have a bilateral trade with these countries going up to almost 100 billion or maybe more. Foreign investments are also coming from this region to India. Besides this, the remittances almost of people who are working there, sending almost 30 to $35 billion annually. So region becomes very important for India. So basically what we want, peace and stability, is paramount importance for India.